Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DreamLeague Season 13 Major. My name is Sunsfan, joined by Kezu. This is Group C. Kezu, how are you doing, friend? I know you just came back from a very stressful situation where your cat actually turned off your computer and we had to delay the game because of your cat. How do you feel about that?
Actually feels amazing. This cat has privileges not only in my home, but also online, so that's great.
That's a typical cat right there. So,
Yeah, spoiled cats.
how have you been, friend? I don't think I've ever talked to you before today, but I watch your stream. I'm a big fan of your cats, especially, as has already been mentioned. How's life with you, buddy?
Doing great. Streaming life is treating me pretty well. Dota is going pretty well, at least in terms of pub games and my rank, so I can't really complain.
That's good to hear. So for Group C, we do have 4 teams. We have IG versus Reality Rift, which is happening right now. It's a best of 3. This is the GSL format, and it will be followed by Virtus Pro and Alliance. Everything is best of 3. We'll have 2 of those today, 3 tomorrow, and then we'll know who goes on to the upper bracket and who goes to the lower bracket. But let's get started with this draft, buddy. Omni Knight. Been seeing a lot of these like Abaddon, Omni Knights, even Legion Commander, as disgusting as that hero is, in my opinion. Been seeing her just simply because of the W. Omni Knight first pick. Are you shocked?
Not fully, but a little bit. I mean, in the minor, we've seen some Omnis Abbas, as you've mentioned. In the Rubik response was kind of foreseeable, I think. I'm a little surprised they didn't want to. I mean, I assume they went into the game with the plan of first picking Omni. So it would have also made sense to ban Rubik. But their bans seem kind of tailored against IG, so I don't know if they've maybe scrimped this team.
Mm-hmm. Followed by a Centaur Warrunner. Wow. It's been a long time for me casting this bad boy. Used to be my favorite hero back in the day.
Yeah, I think I've heard some stuff about that.
they got rid of the stun on Stampede, Kezu. They only had it for 2 weeks, but it was the best 2 weeks of my life.
I didn't. I did that before my time in Dota. Actually, I didn't play them.
You're kidding?
No, wow. I'm not kidding.
Wait, how long did you stay with Han? I'm so confused. Did you not
too
jump
long.
ship right away?
No.
Jesus.
Stay too long, dude.
God damn. Well, yeah, his and in fact his what's his W called?
It's called Double Edge right now.
Double Edge. Wow, that can't even remember my favorite hero's skills anymore. Double Edge used to mini stun as well, and you could deny yourself. It was fucking good.
What a hero.
Yeah. But we're gonna see Centaur and Slark for Team Reality Rift. Do you like Slark versus Centaur?
I think it's an okay matchup for both. I don't think either of them, benefit much more than the other. I do think Rubik Centaur is kind of like it's a very common lane that's been used for like, I don't know, the last year already. It's just like a solid dual lane. You can just pick it like this even without seeing the enemy carry, and it feels kind of good because it's just solid. And then Rubik is good against Omni. Stampede is always useful. Slark just seems like one of the best carries right now, to be honest. He seems kind of hard to deal with. So you can pick it here on 10 if you're Reality Rift, and now you can use 2 bans on it, whichever 2 carries you don't want your Slark to face.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're on the side of Invictus Gaming right now, who would you want to pick against the Slark? Like, I only know like the pub perspective right now in this meta, and first thing I think of is Bloodseeker. I don't know if it's actually a good counter, but teams do pick it occasionally.
Reality Rift, sure think so.
Oh,
Bloodseeker is one of the better ones for sure. Especially because if he does get low, first of all, you'll see him, and then obviously the most obvious factor is Rupture. In my opinion, PL is pretty good against Slark because you mana burn him, he doesn't do much against illusions. But I've also heard different opinions about that. So Seeker and PL would be my first options, to be honest. Other than that, it kind of depends on like your carry pool. Because overall, Leshrac is a really good pick for IG here. He's good against Omni, he's good against Slark.
All right, they're going to go for a Lich, so a little bit of magic damage to go along with some team fight potential.
Yeah, and Lich is very solid here.
Being able to use that Frost Shield to be very annoying. How often do you see a Lich 25 in this meta? I guess this patch you don't see it that often, do you? Like, how long are your games?
See it. I've had one game above 70 minutes. That's it. The rest are like, I think my game average is probably somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes. It's pretty quick.
Wow. Okay, so I've probably played about 25% of the games that you have in this patch.
Yeah.
I want you to guess how many 70-minute games I've had.
0?
7.
What? People
I-
griefing in your games with
No,
Tinker or what?
I'm just so bad at finishing games. Like I always have a lead and we just farm.
I mean, you're
And
probably not alone in your game then. I think the other people
that is
share
true.
the same.
This is a good hero though. I love Vengeful Spirit right now in this patch. What position is she typically played right now?
I would say she's mainly a 5. But she can be a core, but I do think she's best suited as a support hero right now.
That makes me sad.
I would assume that you're gonna see her in safe lane support or something, like +5.
We're gonna see OD picked by IG. This hero has been nerfed semi-consistently. I guess you can. I don't know if they're micro nerfs, but it feels like every small patch that they come out with, there's an OD small change at least to his ult, the crit multiplier.
Yeah. Now the hero is still pretty good as it is right now. OD, it's again good against Omni. It's decent against Slark. Omni kind of likes long fights and he tanks up, and OD kind of likes the same. Because I mean, even if you're first of all, he hits through your magic. He hits through GA. He steals stats. He can astral people, and his ulti doesn't really care about any spells Omni has. It's decent against Slark too, so it's a solid pick. Same with the TA here. It's a good laner from what I understand against OD.
Yeah, how does that lane work exactly? The 1v1.
I would say that OD probably wins it early on with Astrals and so on, but after a few levels, I think they're just gonna end up farming evenly. They'll just push the wave. TA goes jungle.
OD players are still rushing this Ags, right? The double Astral.
I believe so. I have seen some people opting like for a different build. I've seen some people go Lens first, and some people who skipped Ags, who went like Dragonlance and stuff. But I don't really see any reason to skip Ags, to be honest. It seems too strong.
Now, can you answer me this? You remember when that first came out, his Ags, like 2 years ago, and everybody thought it was garbage?
Was it the Mega Astral?
What changed? I genuinely don't understand what changed since then. Because Astral, for the most part, I feel like has stayed the same in the last couple of years, right?
Oh, I mean, it's like a different interaction. First of all, how the Ags work. Like back then, you had one charge where everything got Astral around you, right? Now you have... At least I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, the reason it's so good now, you have 2 charges, you have higher cast range, and every time you Astral an enemy, you get charges on your ulti, which gives you more mana, which will then make your ult deal more damage. And it didn't used to be that way, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Back in the day, it was like some intelligence multiplier or something. Yeah.
All right, well, Nyx is going to get banned. That's a very good counter of sorts, I guess, to OD. I feel like OD, the laning stage is obviously very important, but is there like a hero that into the late game you're just like, I just don't want to deal with? I mean, Nyx could be up there because of the mana burn, but is there just that one?
Right
just
now,
BKBs are an issue.
OD doesn't like heroes that can literally just run at him. I think that's what the hero struggles with. Especially nowadays, you don't really build defensive items like early on, because you need to build this Ags, and you maybe build a Blink or some Lens. So if people get on top of you, I think it's really hard for you to play. But mainly I've seen like, it's Nyx Assassin, and then it's just carries that go like BKBs and stuff, and they just go on top of you with like this new Abyssal Blade.
That's going to get nerfed. I'm actually, I was really surprised that wasn't nerfed already. That was
that item is
shocking.
bonkers for sure.
Yeah, at least the range on the Blink. Was it like 600 range right now or something like that?
I think it's 600 as it is right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little too good probably. A hero that could really use it that I want to see more of today is, and I'm in love with this hero right now. I don't know how good it is this game. Probably not so much, but Lifestealer feels so good as position 1 with the right mid.
I think Nyx is pretty good. People have been trying different builds on him. From what I understand, Ame made it popular to go Halberd, like Maelstrom Halberd or something like that, because Halberd, it amplifies the region you get from your feast and from your open wounds, because it has this region amplification stat for some reason, and status resistance.
And status resistance, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Sancho items are pretty good right now. Well, Reality Rift do ban Leshrac. Like I mentioned before, I think that pick would be really good for IG. I'm not quite sure what they're picking here on Rift. Like, I don't know if they want to put their Omni as a core this game or as a support, or if Venge is core support, so they're kind of open.
Yeah.
But I assume it's a 3 or a 4 that they're picking here. Perhaps someone that can engage some clockwork type of hero if it's a support.
Skywrath Mage. Do you like that pick?
That's okay. I personally would have preferred a different type of pick because right now they're gonna rely pretty hard on either Venge, swaps, or Slark having a good game and going in and pouncing, or like TA going in and blinking. But I feel like IG have pretty good tools to deal with these like pseudo jumps in a way. They have Rubik Lift, they have Astrals, they have Stampede to like disengage. Oh, it's a safe lane OD.
Oh, wow! I was not expecting that. Okay, so they weren't happy with the OD versus TA, so they go for the Shadow Fiend versus TA.
Yeah. I have not seen safe lane OD in a while. There was one guy. There's one Chinese player who plays a lot of OD. I don't quite know who it is right now. I think it's the guy that played in the minor finals, the RNG mid player. He's the only one I've seen do safe lane OD. So I'm not quite sure how well this hero does.
Forget about the teams. Which lineup do you like?
I prefer IG's lineup. I prefer
which
Radiant's
team
lineup.
Do you prefer? Sorry?
I prefer the Radiant lineup.
Radiant, okay.
10 seconds remaining.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a weird pick in terms of just sticking to the standard stuff, but looking forward to see how it works. The thing I really hate about Vengeful Spirit being like a hard support, if that is the case right now, just the swap just feels so slow. You know, because level 2 ult is when it starts to get good. Level 1 feels almost unusable a lot of the time.
Yeah, level 1 is pretty hard unless you have, I think, specific spells to combo with, and it's like a, specific type of fight. But I feel like that type of fight is hard for Reality Rift to take right now. Like if you want to go in with a level 1 swap against Radiant's heroes, it sounds like suicide. There's Astrals, Chain Frost, and there's some SF Raises and SF Ulti. So I think what Rift need to do this game, I mean, they have certain timings they need to play around, like TA's Deso, Blink, Slark's first and second item. That's when they kind of need to like go off, look to get the first Aegis. Until then, they should just play their lanes and get as much farm as they can. That should be their plan, at least for the early game.
That's funny. You just described every game of the last 5 years for a TA lineup.
Pretty much. I mean, people need to stick to it, because I see people feed quite a bit with TA. Or like the people that play around it. The hero's very timing based, like super timing based.
And are you a fan of the Ag Slark? We've seen.
I am.
It feels like half.
I saw it the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so bad!" And like we lost the game. But then I saw it more, and I was like, "Wow, this shit is insane." Nah, it's for sure good.
It's something that it catches you off guard because it feels like it's the entire screen's worth of a pounce in terms of how far it goes.
Like suddenly he can go in and he can go out. Like he's not committed when he pounces in. Also, if you have a 4-staff, like you're not safe. You'll just die. And if you wait out the first pounce, it's not like you can TP out after because he has a second one.
Yeah, this hero is really strong. Now, are you a fan? Like, do you like it as a second item? Is that typically the timing?
I think second item is typically how people opt to buy it right now. It's like Diffuser Blade Ags. At least if the game allows it, I think that's the best build right now for Slark.
Well, IG and company looking to place some wards, block a camp here very early on. They are kind of spotted. We'll see if Reality Rift can actually do anything about that. What do you think of a team name named after a skill in Dota? Are you a fan, or is it not unique enough?
I like it simply because I like the name.
CK lover?
Yeah, I think that's just why I like it. I just like the name Reality Rift. I think it's nice.
Okay, fair enough. And it's blue, so it's not the color scheme at all of CK.
No, you can't even read the team name in the top.
Yeah, it's illegible, I believe is the right word. OD, of course, getting the rune for himself. IG getting 3 of the 4. So nice start for them. OD has got to be one of the... I mean, this is actually an interesting topic of the heroes that... Because you have to think about all these things going into a game. What's good at this timing? What's good at this time? But now with this patch, you have to think of outposts a lot, right? Heroes like OD can be good for solo taking outposts because of the Astral, especially once you have Ags later on. Is that something you actually look at in your draft? Like, how important are outposts? Is, I guess, the roundabout way of me asking.
I mean, you definitely think about outposts when you try to draft around it, but it's not like, oh, we're gonna take this hero because he will let us take the the 10-minute outpost. I think you just try to pick heroes that your team plays well and that just allow you to fight, basically. Like to, you know, to dumb it down and make it simple. I think that's the easiest way of describing it.
Yeah, that does not describe my level in pubs, that's for sure. That's all I think. I feel like getting the first 2 outposts, if you get, it's just game over. That's how it feels like in pubs. It's very snowballing.
Yeah. I think in high level, it's not so much. It's not only about the heroes you have. It's just about how you use them. Like if you have if your offlaner is strong at minute 9, then send him to the outpost that they will fight, and let one of the weak supports take that outpost. For instance, like take the easy one. So you just need to be smarter, like around the outpost, I think.
No, mid lane, we're just going to see the Shadow Fiend versus the TA matchup, and I feel like this is most likely the place that we'll find first blood. TA, of course, has a refraction, but Shadow Fiend getting up those souls, has 3 at the moment. CS-wise, pretty even.
This lane used to be heavily TA. Oh my god,
dear.
we missed first blood.
Don't worry, I got it. Wink, wink.
Well, one thing to note is that Radiant should win the top lane. I think Slark Venge... I mean, this is one of the weaknesses, at least, of Venge. As a 5, I think she's a fairly weak laner. Like you're happy to trade farm when you play a Venge lane most of the time. And the Radiant lane, like I said before, it's a solid lane because they're tanky, they can protect each other, they have lift and stun. Also interesting to note, they skilled QW on Scent. I have actually not seen this, and I have not tried this myself, but I really like it. This is the most damage.
Yeah, typically you see the third skill being at least skilled first, right? And tanking up a tower or something like that.
Exactly.
Skywrath actually getting a second courier kill. Are you serious in this bot lane?
That is the second? Oh yeah, it is.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Frost shield being used. And there's the slow from Skywrath, trying to run away from this pesky Lich. Frost Blast up in 2 seconds, but not able to chase him down any further. How big of a deal this early is getting 2 couriers, since it does stop your passive gold income and whatnot?
I think it also has a lot to do, like, did the people get the courier before it died, or did it die on the way out?
This last one died on the way out. I don't know about the other one.
Okay, because if you kill them before they get the items, I think it's a huge deal. This way, it's, I mean, it still matters, and it's convenient for your team too. You got some gold.
It feels like an eternity, especially in the laning stage when your courier just drops dead like that. Lich
Yeah,
getting
when
extremely
it walks,
low.
oh my god. He kind of wants to die, actually. I think he should spend his gold and die on purpose.
Die on purpose. Oh, mid lane, we're seeing a couple raises onto Alacrity. Getting very low. Another raise is available. It's actually the long one, but the Fairy Fire at the last moment will keep him alive. Top lane, in the meantime, we're seeing a pull by Kaka. Should be successful here, at least in part.
That was a nice heads up by TA. He popped Fairy Fire and Stick, actually, and barely survived. That was tight.
That was very, very close. Tight in more ways than one.
True. SF has to care right now. They're both playing on the edge in mid. I like it. Kind of shows that they both know what's up.
They both have quite the confidence. Of course, Emo wins that exchange because he finds the random rune to his advantage. Well done, sir. High skill plays for sure.
Definitely.
Looks like we might have a dive top. We have the telekinesis into the hoof stomp and the double edge, and that is a second death for Vengeful Spirit. Nothing a whole lot Slark can do other than take a little bit of right click on the way out. Does have 5 tangos, so we'll be good to go for now.
Yeah, this Centaur is crazy farmed right now. I just opened the net worth chart and my god.
Yeah,
it's like the dream game. He cannot ask for a much better lane right now.
Emo continuing to apply pressure to Alacrity in the mid lane. The last raise in the fog, but of course wasn't a whole lot other place he can go to at that point. In top lane, we're going to see the Slark die into the Vengeful Spirit. 5-0 for IG. I mean, we gave them the advantage in the lineup, and I think we can both agree that in terms of just their teams and how much they've played in the recent past couple months of the DPC, that they're also the favorites in this match.
Yeah, IG is looking... I mean, so far at least, their laning and their spell usage looks kind of on point. Not sure the bounty trade went 2 for 2. Top lane, we have some trade again, but won't result in a kill this time.
How much can you punish a Slark right now? Like, how much comeback ability does he have in terms of if he gets off to a bad start?
If he gets off to a bad start, this hero... I mean, he recovers okay-ish, but I mean, he doesn't... It's not like... He's not a TB or some PL that heads into the jungle with their illusions and stuff. So he's kind of weak. And it's not only about the way he comes back, but I think the most hurtful part about it, if he has a bad start, is just he misses his early timings. Like, instead of him being able to be aggressive, he has to catch up and farm. I think that's like the worst part about it. So his whole team is probably gonna lose the map if it continues this way.
Well, Emo in the mid lane now has a double Wraith ban, looking pretty nice. See its actual net worth. He is actually not doing too hot in the grand scheme of things.
He's faring a lot of regen. I mean, this is kind of how it goes in the early laning stage. I'm actually, though, surprised he's this low after getting the kill. So he's just been perma faring out regen. That's bottom. We got a kill on Omni.
Yep, Sandy's Eclipse was used. Top in the meantime. Looks like Rubik's going to fall. So it's a 1-for-1 across the map. And that is the first kill for our Dire squad in this match so far.
Alright, come back. Slark has 1 perma agi. Let's go.
Yep. You got to start somewhere.
You definitely have to.
This is a pretty punching lane for a Slark as well. I mean, double edge being leveled that early ended up working out to his advantage. Now he's maxing out the Retaliate, of course. So it ends up being the same skill build, but just starts out a little bit differently.
Yeah, I like the, what's it called? I like the order that he chose to skill his skills this game. It's very nice.
Looks like we're going to have some D-warding here in the mid lane. An amalgamation of IG heroes.
When you play against this
Emo's off to a
TA,
good start.
you need to have that sentry mid against TA. It's, otherwise it's unplayable.
Trusty Shovel on TA. That's arguably one of the best tier 1 items, if not the best. His top lane.
There's stuff happening top.
Centaur's going to pop Stampede. Not able to finish off the Vengeful Spirit. They might actually be able to return this. No pun intended. The Vengeful Spirit does die. Looks like TA died in the mid lane as well. As Skyrath will finally finish off the pesky Centaur. But it's a 1-for-2 overall. As another courier will die. This time it's ODs. So IG, they're off to a good start in terms of the kills, but they've lost 3 couriers so far this game.
Yeah.
What the hell is that about?
Well, Omni bottom. He should be going down, I think. Probably has to mango on Lich twice.
And we're going to see another Astral. It is level 4 right now. Just body blocking him. It's going to be a slow one, but eventually they will find the kill most likely. Wasting so much time, KYXY. An old veteran of Dota 2 and Dota in general.
Not the worst stuff he had here. He killed the courier. I'm pretty sure Odie missed a couple CS in the lane.
Yeah,
so
more than a couple. That felt like a 10-minute battle right there.
He should have lost the wave depending on how the lane was positioned. I didn't quite see it.
And we're at the 8.5-minute mark, so we have to keep an eye on the 10-minute mark here for the outposts, of course. Kaka's going to run into Hustle. But Centaur's here as the bodyguard. We'll get stunned up by the Vengeful Spirit and we'll walk away safely. TA finding all the neutral items, it seems. What do you think the best tier 1 neutral item? Is it the shovel?
I like shovel a lot, and then I guess it kind of depends like on your lineup. Like I've played with PLs that would get like Poorman Shield, Iron Talon, and like Broom Handle. So they just farm. Their farm is like off the roof in the early game. But my favorites are probably the shovel, the mango tree, and then I don't know, maybe Faded Brooch. I think that item is pretty good.
How dare you not include Royal Jelly?
I hate that item. I think it's trash.
I love that item. Even if it's garbage, it makes you feel better that you're, I have more regen now. This is terrific. You don't even need
that's
to
more
use
like
a
mental thing. Like I know it's not good, so it can't trick me like that, you know?
I see. You're too smart for the game, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, Centaur working on his hood. Has a buckler as well.
You can see that the teams are thinking about outposts right now. I like what Radiant is doing. So SF is top a little early. This allowed Rubik to take mid, and now he just got 6. So if he rotates into a side lane right now, they actually have a level 6 support for one of the fights.
Oh, bot lane though. Odie was trying to get that outpost, but we'll just have to TP out as the pressure is a little bit too much. So it will be a trade of outpost. Nobody's winning the game off of that alone. Kazu, you'll be happy to know. Game will go on.
Thank you. You're definitely right. It's nice that Sky came bot, because actually this Odie would have taken the outpost by himself. He would just Astral Omni and take it. And I think Reality Rift would have probably lost both outposts, because I don't see how they would have fought the Radiant top. This SF is too strong right now.
Is it worth dying for an outpost in that situation?
I think for the first one, if you get it, I think it's probably worth it. That's top.
Oh, Odie's going to get a kill on the Skyrath Mage, but Slark is in a lot of trouble. We'll pop that ult and TP out to safety. It's going to be a double kill on the
Oh
OD.
my God, how the hell did he do that?
Well, we'll never know because it wasn't on
He
camera.
has 35 stacks on his ulti.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hey, there's that Royal Jelly. He got all the good ones. What
Oh
a
my
god.
God, he's the strongest hero on the map now.
Watch him
Royal
come
Jelly.
back from this with the Royal Jelly alone.
Yeah, in his backpack. It's gonna age well there.
I mean, who do you give it to? I'm guessing you give it to yourself for sure.
I don't know if you need it on the. I don't play enough TA to know if you need it. I feel like you give one. I think Slark's mana region, he can use it. I don't know, Slark Omni, Slark
Okay.
Skywrath, some shit like that.
Well, Centaur is the top farmer in this game, which is great news for IG, because that'll allow Shadow Fiend to kind of get back his groove, because this is one of those heroes that can go into the jungle, as we're seeing right now, and kind of catch up to a degree.
SF's farm incredibly fast, especially right now. I think with like how the neutral camps are is like next to mid lane. They're like so close. You can go mid, you can raise it out, you can go jungle, and usually you can even also get stack timings off if you're playing heroes that kill the wave fast. So SF, he's gonna skyrocket in net worth. I mean, he's third lowest right now, which is a little surprising, but it's simply because his teammates are doing so well. Like I would say Centaur's and OD's net worth, it's kind of inflated.
OD doesn't have Astral up, so he's just going to get dived in the bot lane. TPs will not be able to help. So that's a very nice kill for that Slark. And now we're up to 2 permanent agility.
That's a really good kill, because he had a kill streak, so not only does he feed a lot of gold, he actually fed a lot of experience here. People still underestimate. A while ago, I don't know how many months ago, like I think right before TI, as mid lane, which seems to be okay. They introduced something where if you kill people with killing sprees, they grant additional experience, and it's actually a lot. Like it stacks up really fast.
And what do you think about the neutral items not adding to net worth?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I feel like something has to be done about that. The same with Vambrace, it reduces your net worth.
Yeah, that was even weirder for me. That when you combine items, it just disappears essentially. Very weird.
Yeah.
As mid lane, we're going to see this tier 1 tower taking a beating, and it will fall one way or the other. Fortification is popped. That's kind of the freebie that you get with the tier 1s.
Yeah.
And Centaur.
I kind of
really
like
wants
what
to finish.
both teams are doing. I think IG could have approached this tier 1 push a little different in order to not lose so much HP on random heroes and let Reality Rift deny it. But Reality Rift also used the right amount of heroes in mid to like stall the tower. Like they didn't intend on taking a fight, but they just want to slow down IG's push on the mid lane.
Now they're going to kind of take over the jungle here for a bit. Get some nice ward action. And yeah, OD has the Force Staff and will be going for an Aghanim Scepter now.
Yeah, I like the Force First a lot on this game. Like I said earlier, Dire they don't really have like the most initiation nor lockdown. So if Radiant can just save each other, I feel like it's really hard for Reality Rift to play the fights later on.
And IG's just going to continue the push. They're going to group up top and look for this tier 2. And the tier 1 is still standing technically in the bot lane. They will give it up now. Slark will get that last hit. But that's in trade for a tier 2.
I think IG are definitely playing properly right now. They're running at towers because they're ahead. The center can just tank it. It allows them to take the towers fast. Also, IG should definitely they should just look to play mid and top. I don't really think that they should look to go bottom at all. Because Roshan is really important in this game, especially because Dire has TA. They really rely on this first Aegis.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure when the time comes. Oh, Vengeful Spirit wants to
Might
find
get a TP
someone
cancel.
here. He's going to get the swap off onto the Lich. And that's going to be a
That
free
one
kill for
pesky
Reality
creep.
Rift.
That was a 1 HP creep following the Lich.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying. That's when you curse the pathing that Valve has implemented into this game.
Definitely. It was not your fault, having.
So the Diffusal is now on the Slark. So we'll have to wait and see if he goes for the Aghanim Scepter afterwards. But I want to say like 75% of the time that's what I see the Slarks go for these days.
Yeah. Oh, top lane.
Yeah, top lane we're going to have the Blink Dagger reveal. Hoof Stomp Double Edge. Not doing that much damage thanks to the tankiness of the Omni Knight, but he is most likely going to fall here. I would be absolutely shocked he's able to get away. Stampede is popped just to close the gap a little bit faster.
I mean, I would say this is
lord.
another space kill. Oh my god.
Jesus. Yeah, that is Omni Knight in a nutshell, it seems.
Once again, it was not bad. That kill only took so long because he had the W on him while farming the wave earlier. Otherwise he will just die. Unlike the first stun.
He is a tanky boy. This is a position 3 Omni then, right? Do you like the build that he's going for right now?
Item or skill?
Items.
Yeah, I think Pipe's fine. Kind of helps his team. It's gonna allow them... Oh, as... Should probably talk about the smoke happening down bottom.
Yep, TA is going to get stunned up. Does have the refraction on. He's at half HP, but a swap out from the Vengeful Spirit. Very nicely done. As she will probably be the sacrificial lamb, as is her job. But the Skylar's going to use a nice ult to full effect as Rubick's going to die. Outworld Devour as well will drop. That's 2 for nothing. Another swap bringing in the Centaur, who's quite tanky, but nobody has died yet for Reality Rift. The Lich ult, not enough. 4 dead in the blink of an eye. My goodness, what a turnaround. Vengeful Spirit. Jesus.
Well, there's that level 1 swap, baby.
I talk shit about that level 1 swap, and here we go. Game changing.
They are gonna take Roche on this. I think they kill it too fast. We'll see. But I think if Dire commit on this, and they send 1 hero to just run at the Radiant heroes that will TP in, like about now, Slark is kind of doing the right thing as long as he doesn't feed. They just need to make some space, and TA should be able to finish this Roche, I think.
Well, it's going to be close. They're all pretty low from the original fight. Lich, of course, doesn't have the ult. Shadow Fiend's able to finish off the Vengeful Spirit finally, and there's the Aegis. It will go to the TA, who's trying to get out with it still in tow, but no, he's going to get Hoof Stomp, and he will use it. And now KYXY on the run. TA in a very, very bad position. Does not have a Blink Dagger as of yet, just the Desolator. Stamping being used, but there's the Shrine being popped as well. TA does go down, so it's a 2 for 1 in this mini exchange as a Roshan essentially nullified, and now another Hoof Stomp into a potential double edge. KYXY will fall. What the hell is going on in this game? Jesus.
Well, there's a lot of action. I like that. I think the only way that you do go Roche here, I think it's an okay call, but then somebody has to say that you definitely need 1 or 2 guys to run it, the Radiant Shrine, and, you know, quote-unquote feed, so you get the Aegis and your cores get to disengage.
Right.
I'm not quite sure how it worked. I think at first Slark ran in and then he ran out, but after that the Radiant heroes, they just TP'd and they got to, like, kind of run into the pit. And then...
Of course, it wouldn't have been worth it if the Slark died in that scenario, right? It needs to be a support.
You kind of need, like, your supports to, like, run in, make some space, maybe lure them away.
No. Tier 2 tower taking some heavy damage now. Nuts does have 1 charge of his ult. He's going to use it. The Centaur is just going to back off, and they're going to completely decimate the Vengeful Spirit. So now it's a 4v5. We'll see if Reality Rift actually want to continue to fight, or they'll just go for this deny. Looks like the tower will actually go down to the OD, but Shadow Fiend dies very shortly after. Slark will continue. Lich ult was bouncing. Kaka on the run. Purification will do a ton of damage. And another 2 for 1 exchange, this time in favor of Reality Rift. So a lot of trades, a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of trades going on. That was actually quite a sick blink. The way that fight was meant to be initiated by Reality Rift was swap into Atos, but he somehow got the blink off. That's the only reason the Venge died.
I was genuinely confused. I don't know if you noticed when the swap, I'm like, how the fuck did he get swapped the other way? Like, oh,
no, he just clutched his blink, basically. But then after, I think there was a bit of a miscue on Radiant, because the SF kind of manned up, but in the same moment the OD used his Astral aggressively, and then SF kind of just died without using any spells.
Right.
And that is not good for Radiant. They really need this guy to stay alive, not only for his damage, but also for like the fear effect against Dire. Like the new Requiem in like the early mid game is super strong before people have BKBs.
Yeah, that has to be probably the nicest quality of life change to Shadow Fiend, is the fear from his ult.
Yeah.
It has made such a huge difference in his resurgence into the game. The tier 2 tower was taking a little bit of damage. They did pop fortification, did IG. Reality Rift will back off though, and now have smoked up.
Radiant need to be careful if they want to take this fight.
Both sides have actually smoked. Slark getting initiated onto Centaur. Looks like it's going to be turned around a little bit. Vengeful Spirit getting stunned, and he will be the first to fall, as is the norm in this game. Stampede being used, but not to really much effect, as there's the pounce with the Aghanim Sephi as the double charge. Vengeful Spirit buys back into the game. Requiem of Souls is used into the OD ult. It's not enough to actually get a kill, though, and OD is going to get turned around, but Slark pounces across the map. We won't see him for a while, I'm sure, but he's still relatively healthy thanks to that regen. Omni Knight using his purification, doing a little bit of damage. Lich is the first to fall now for IG as they continue to run. This is somehow getting turned around again. Reality Rift only costing them 1 buyback on the Vengeful Spirit. and they'll get a 3-for-1 essentially.
I mean, fucking Spider-Man joins the fight. Like Slark just fucking he stays out, heals to full, and then he just pounces straight up in. It was kind of a weird fight. I felt like Reality Rift had the option to commit a bit earlier, but Slark and TA, they played it kind of safe, and they just played the long fight, and I think they just used their spells better in this fight. Like eventually they got to kite and poke them, and then they just committed when it was good.
Yeah, Slark's gonna jump in onto the Rubik, but will not be able to find a kill as of yet.
Yeah.
And we'll just back away. And that's the beauty of Slark. I mean, the reason this hero is so much stronger now is because when you get that Ags, not only is it the range of the pounce, but the fact that you get 2 of them, and he takes advantage of going in and out of fights probably better than any hero in the entire game, because you can go from 1 HP to full in a matter of seconds as long as they don't have vision.
No, definitely. Like, the fact that you're not committed on the first pounce is like so strong on that hero. Also, one thing I didn't really think about in the draft when they picked Skywrath, I think Sky is one of the better heroes against OD, especially with this 15 talent. I didn't even know it existed until like 2-3 weeks ago. You can if you decide to take the 15 talent, the Ancient Seal, you actually perma-silence a hero.
Wow.
Because I played against some Sky spammer when I was Omni Knight, and yeah, that guy, honestly, he just ruined my game.
That's
I didn't
insane.
realize
that's 100% uptime. How is that a thing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so if he has good positioning, and OD doesn't like buy a defensive item, he's actually just useless. They need to kill the Skywrath, or OD needs a BKB eventually. At least I hope that's the talent he will take on 15, so fingers crossed. I don't want to talk about some random stuff and then he doesn't do it.
Well, that keeps us excited for that time. I mean, usually we don't get too excited about Skywrath mages around that time, so...
No, not really. He's just running around solo killing heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Where he tries, at least.
And he does have the Atos, so that'll certainly help in that regard.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Omni Knight will be going for the Solar Crest on the side of Reality Rift. The shovel has been passed to the Vengeful Spirit. Many a bounties, my friend.
Let's go, baby. Shovel it up. I think the Crest is good this game. You could go either Crest, Vlads, or Halberd here, I think, on OD. Vlads and Crest are kind of like more timing items. You wanna empower your TA and your Slark a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If the first Roach was still up. Oh yeah, sorry. If I said OD, my mistake. I like both the Solar and the Vlads the most. If Roche was up right now, I would maybe kind of like Vlads more, but we'll see. Just because it would allow them to save full HP, but since Roche is down, I think this Crest is really nice.
And I was looking for a carrier, and it will be the Centaur for that Halberd on the Radiant side. Obviously, an extremely good item against the likes of Slark, since you can't dispel it whatsoever. And it gives him some extra evasion on top of his 10%. So he's going to be a tanky boy for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely very good. It's going to allow him to be more in the front line. Maybe he can even get the Halberd on TA before BKB if they get to engage on him. That's also good. Like, he actually has 2 good targets for Halberd. Makes him a lot more tanky. Game is kind of slowing down right now. I do think that Dire could look to take a fight soon, since they did just freshly pick up TA's BKB. But perhaps they want to wait for the double BKB combo, as Slark is like 1 minute away from his BKB, like 1.5 minutes if they take 1-2 bounties. And that's probably go time for them then.
Well, he's going to pounce up and go for this Shadow Fiend, who will pop the ult, and that's a lot of damage. Second pounce is forced. And he does have the Manta style now on Shadow Fiend, so he'll be able to dispel that silence from Skywrath.
If they actually had more info on the map about other heroes on Radiant, I think Slark would have been... He would have committed on SF, I think. Because he took off the fear with his Dark Pact. It was barely timed well enough. But I think he didn't see enough heroes on the map, otherwise he could just stick onto the SF.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. It's actually pretty easy to dispel the fear on Slark.
Yeah.
Very handy. But like you said, the BKB should be done by the next time they actually commit to a fight. Orb of Destruction now. That is a good item. I would assume you put it on Slark, but you could just give it to the TA for the extra minus armor, but you don't really get the benefits of the melee. Do you ever
I would say it's
consider
best
that?
on Slark. What do you consider? Like, did you want
Putting
it on a melee
ranged? Hero? Yeah.
I think it's just easier to use on melees, because melee heroes in general, they're the ones that try to stick on people, right? Whereas ranged heroes, I think they're usually more, you hit a few times, and then you chill a bit, maybe you look for your next target.
I guess I was thinking of it more from like a structural damage standpoint, Because it'll be, what, -12 to structures? And he's the one actually hitting it, not Slark most of the time?
No, I think if it comes to that later, they could even decide to swap it if TA does hold the Aegis. But I would say usually when it comes to fighting, you would rather want it on your melee carry most of the time. Just because of how the game is played usually.
Hurricane Pike is finished on OD, who will be going for a Bloodstone now. How do you like this item build for Fly?
I think it's pretty good for the game. I like what his items look like right now.
What are you getting for the silence, though, right now?
I don't know. I don't think he's getting anything for now, because he doesn't know. Or he's not expecting it.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Well, Skyrath's level 12 now, hasn't even taken the 10 talent yet. Oh, we're going to hear Stampede being used. Shadow Fiend ult onto the Slark. He's getting pretty low. He will pop the BKB and his ult and will pounce back in and just decimate that Shadow Fiend. It looks like Fly is next on the list. Gets off one Astral Imprisonment, but will not be able to find another. So 3 for nothing as Reality Rift just destroying them right now in these mini engagements.
That was a little too close for my liking on Slark's HP there.
That guy's got some balls, man.
He certainly does. Some huge ones at that. But I like the smoke that they did. They had decent lane positioning, and then they just smoke into the Radiant jungle, and they kind of cut him off. Slark gets to initiate and find the SF. And they just have a good timing right now. They have double BKB, they have Omni, Venge Aura.
Fortification is forced now. Buyback is available for Shadow Fiend. Of course, not the greatest buyback hero because of the souls being halved. And OD will be up naturally in 12 seconds.
I think they're gonna get the tower and chill, I think, on Dire. I don't think they're gonna force Rax.
And they're doing just that.
They should look to go for the Rosh Shrine now, and now they should set up their Roshan fights.
This item on Slark... Oh, he just gave it up. Oh, it's in his backpack. Vampire Fragment. I was to say, it's actually pretty freaking good on the hero. Not only do you get normal lifesteal, you get spell lifesteal, which kind of like returns your HP from Dark Pact back to you. Yeah. And then the night vision on top of his already good night vision. It's a pretty cool item, actually.
Oh boy.
We might have some action. Slark is... Oh my god. Okay, Lich is no longer a hero. OD's going to save the Rubik for now. Slarks will continue onto the OD. And he will eventually find this kill, but OD is making it quite annoying. The swap going to keep Fly in place. And actually, the Vengeful Spirit will... Or the Rubik will live to see another day, surprisingly. But the buyback on the Centaur. Still Stampede available.
They bought back Lich, they bought back Scent. One thing to note, I think if Radiant had Scan, they would not have died like this. Because I think the only reason they run in like this is that they're paranoid that Dire are doing Rosh. So if they had Scan to scan Roach and it wouldn't pop, they would be like, hey guys, they're up here. Let's not run in like that. But attempt number 2 coming up right now.
Oh, double hoof stomp. Very nice start, but there's the Omni ult, Lich ult, popping back and forth. Requiem of Souls being used to decent effect as Slark will have to use his ult until. And there's the Atos being used now onto the OD, taking a lot of damage. They should be able to finish him off. That's the first death of this fight, and it's in favor again of Reality Gaming, or Reality Rift Gaming, whatever their name is, the Centaur.
Reality Rift Gaming, I like that.
Or the CK, I should say. And now,
I mean,
Roshan is down.
Getting this Rosh. Some obvious bad news for Team Radiant. That fight actually started out probably the best it could. They had a double hoof stomp, I think, on Venge plus a core. But it seems too hard right now for Radiant to stick onto the Dire heroes. Like the OD, it seems like he kind of has to run more than he's hitting.
Yeah.
And the hero kind of has to hit and use his spells.
Fortuitous timing, I should say. They're going to get not only Roshan, but another tower and both outposts for the 30-minute mark. Adding insult to injury.
Jokes on you. Oh, yeah, you're right. Centaur he tried.
Oh, he tried, okay.
But it was a good play. Stark literally just insta TP'd, and it forced Sent to back up, and now he just cancels his TP.
The fake TP, that's my favorite move. There you're seeing the -9-second Ancient Seal cooldown. He skips the level 10 talent for now. So
well, I'm not sure why you can do this still.
Yeah, it seems like a bug, right? But it's
you shouldn't be able to take the 15 talent without taking the 10. Like, hello. I mean, it's been in the game for like half a year now, or like I think that's the first time people did it. So
yeah,
it's been quite a while.
I'm sure it'll be changed at some point, and then we'll figure out if it's actually a bug or not. Because I remember the Centaur return working on towers. It was like that for quite a while, and then finally it got mega abused by Alliance. And then they said bug fixed, as opposed to, oh, we changed it. And I was a little salty by the wording of that patch.
That's a good one.
Well, they have the Aegis on the TA.
They have a
And
DD
Slark
on
with the
him too.
cheese.
I guess they want to place a base ward and look for a swap out or something.
Oh, they could find it right now. Oh, Manta is popped though. Oh, he gets the right swap. Very nicely done. The Stampede is being popped now as Nuts will be the first to fall. Still has the illusion to work with. Hoof Stomp to follow. On the TA, of course, still has that Aegis. We'll pop the BKB a little bit early, actually, with the Aegis intact. And they might just back out here. Very interesting fight here from Reality Rift.
Yeah. It's funny how... Let's see if there's nothing else going on. Some small things can make a big difference. That smoke, if SF isn't there and breaks it that early, like if Venge gets to run closer from smoke and place that ward, and they get a clean swap out of the smoke, that fight will be super good for Reality Rift. But since SF is kind of close to the edge and they see them break, he gets his Manta popped off, he gets to run back 2 seconds, he gets grazed, I think, by the Rubik. The Omni grazed him. The Rubik grazed his SF before he got swapped out. And then that whole fight is just completely different, because suddenly it's not good anymore for Reality Rift. Because it starts awkward, it starts out of position, and yeah. I mean, IG gets some clean kill around their base.
Yeah, that's definitely what they needed. They could use a few more of those, for sure.
Yeah,
Both teams have an enchanted quiver. Looks like Emo will be going for, and he actually picks up the Scotty right away.
I feel like that quiver item is hard to use.
Yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming. Tell you what's not hard to use is the passive Craggy Coat on the Centaur. Pretty good hero to have this on, I would say.
I think that's one of the best tier 3 items, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
It's pretty damn solid indeed.
Telescope, I would say, is maybe number 1. I think Repair Kit will be deleted from the game. That's just.
I hate Repair Kit. That shit's so stupid. I've lost multiple games because there was a Repair Kit in a game. I'm not even
surprised.
kidding.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think Fortification itself is too powerful right now. And if you get a Repair Kit on top, it's like, okay, well, we just got an entire team wipe other than this one guy. Actually, you can use it on couriers, technically, right?
You can. Bloodlust, Repair Kit, Glyph. You stun them in that tower, the tower's team wiping them.
That's true. Pretty filthy. All right, well, 10k advantage for Reality Rift right now, as they still have map advantage for the most part, and they're just looking.
I think
to
right now,
take
if you're Reality Rift right now, you see 2 heroes bottom from IG, so you just want to like force into the high ground. I mean, you don't want to dive them, but you just want to make sure that Radiant, that they all feel like they have to TP back. So they force TPs, they force Glyph, and I don't think they should continue this high ground push like this. Like just running down a lane when the enemy team is 5 in base, at least in this game, it's really hard to high ground. I think they should try to contain them on the map, run around. I also think that they bought a gem on Venge. Yeah, they did. So they can just hold position, they can cut the waves and run around from top to bottom, clear the vision, and just keep forcing them back to base and just outfarm them.
Do you like that use of Fort to save range racks?
No. I actually think, like, let the range racks go. If they come for melee again, you use it there.
Yeah.
Or if you feel like you can fight, then hold it for like a tier 3 tower fight. Because I actually think glyphing for multi-shot on tower while you fight is super underrated. I have not seen it like used a lot. But I think it should be used quite frequently.
Oh, Aegis is now no longer a thing. But we will see the Orb of Destruction now on TA, so kind of what we talked about. Looking for this fast building taking. They know that Fortification is down, of course. Slark has cheese, but has not chosen to put it back in his inventory for whatever reason. And they're going to go for this Centaur, the swap into the Silence, into the Mystic Flare. He's pretty freaking tanky, but not tanky enough. Oh, the evasion! Whew! He actually dodged 2 attacks from the TA there. Would have certainly been his death.
Evasion plus Craggy Code, baby.
Good stuff.
He was dead without Craggy Code. Like, he would have died twice there to the physical damage.
Thank you, Ice Frog.
Thank you, Frog.
Do you think the Enchanted Quiver is the worst item in Tier 3? It looks like it. Maybe Fairy Fire. I know a lot of people don't like the Greater Fairy Fire.
Yeah, I think Fairy Fire is not that great. I guess I would say on average Quiver is probably the worst, simply because it's just hard to use. Like you either don't have the slot or you don't have heroes. Also, I feel like it's kind of weird. Like I had it one game on Viper, I think, and it just made me think about this goddamn Quiver cooldown in the fight. Like it made me feel awkward, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, when is it back up? Because then I have 1k attack range instead of 700. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels definitely a bit weird.
We got a smoke on. Smoke or non-smoke.
That's right. See if they can get the surprise factor here. Firefly will blink out, get the Astral as well. But the pounce into the ultimate death of Lich. And the second pounce now onto the Rubik. But you're seeing the Halberd being used to full effect onto Slark. The pounce again will actually connect. And Rubik looks to be mega dead now. Wait.
Found OD
yes,
too.
we'll finally do so.
Yeah, OD silence again.
In the trees. No way to take off the silence, poor guy.
Oh, I feel so bad for this OD. Like, literally, they start fights and OD runs into Sky, but OD has to blink out because he gets silenced.
Yeah.
Very
sad indeed. And he's still not even going for any BKB type item. Is he relying on his team? Like, they don't really have saves. It's not like they have a Venge to swap him out.
I mean, I guess they're relying on murdering the Skyref at the start of the fight. Because I think right now, this pulse force Sky is completely nullifying the enemy mid. I mean, it's not the only reason that they're winning fights, because Reality Rifts are actually having pretty good positioning in their fights. Like, whenever IG go aggressive, they don't really run into the right hero.
Well, this is going to be minimum 2 racks. And we'll see how hard of a fight IG will have in them after this. We'll see if Reality Rift actually wants to continue for the Megas, or if they just play a little bit more passive and go for Roshan, who's about to spawn, actually.
Looks like they're gonna continue nicely until the OD buys back, which he doesn't have, so... Nope.
So he will come back the natural way. Not able to get that tier 3 tower, but Reality Rift with an 18k advantage now. It would take a mighty throw at this point to give this lead away.
I think if you're Radiant at this point, I need to check their buyback status. I mean, sadly they don't have a shrine anymore, so they can't really abuse buybacks on their Radiant shrine. But I think if you're Radiant, you want to wait to take a Roche fight, preferably.
Oh, Omni Knight's going to be the one found. This is maybe a last-ditch effort for IG. Swap out just in time in the Omni ult. That is the Aghanim Scepter, in fact. So everybody will be invulnerable to physical damage. Emo gets off his Requiem of Souls. Vengeful Spirit, again, the first to fall. Does have buyback available if he really wants to use it. Slark will come in with the BKB. Astral being used to a defensive effect. OD, force staffing to the low ground. Gets his ult off. Not able to actually finish anyone off, though. TA, in the meantime, will be the first actual core to fall for Reality Rift. Is a Hoof Stomp being used again. And Slark, not that many stacks to speak of at the moment. We'll have to use Pounce to get the hell out of dodge. And now Omni Knight, the person they originally initiated on, might finally go down. But another swap to save him from the buyback nuts on the Vengeful Spirit. Buyback on OD, buyback on the Lich as well. See if Reality Rift just wants to back out here, as TA probably does not want to expend the buyback for herself.
Yeah, I think Reality Rift should be pretty happy with that. They got, what, 3 buybacks out of IG? The swaps were pretty clutch in that fight, to be honest. At first it saved Omni, Omni got his spells off. Later on he got to save another hero. And now Reality Rift, they should just chill until their TA spawns. Don't force him to use his buyback in some weird way. And then both teams are gonna have to look to fight for Roshan. At least that's what both teams should be aiming around right now. That's what their communication should be centered around.
I do feel bad for OD, though. Do you think this is a good plan to just try to destroy the Skywrath Mage? Because it feels like they really haven't had that opportunity. It's always the Venge swapping out. And you have 0 defensive items other than the Force Staff, I believe. Well, I guess the Hurricane Pike and a Force Staff on their team to save the OD. Seems kind of
I mean, the only way they realistically kill Sky is if Centaur gets to jump him. But Sky has a blink, so he's gonna play far back. So it's kind of hard to make it happen right now, I feel.
Did finally get that level 10 talent, by the way. Just want to update you on that. You were
that's nice. The level 18 10 talent. He probably got it on 17, I guess, but yeah. It's interesting.
I'm sure if you could choose stats, he would have done that instead of the move speed, just to spite you.
He probably would.
Well, we're going to see the Meld Hit Bash talent being taken by TA. No surprise, but being the first to hit level 25, I do believe. Flicker on OD. That's an item. That will dispel the silence, my friend. You just got lucked out by Ice
there you
Rock.
go. There you go.
He knew.
That's what they were hoping for.
Oh, Slark's going to jump in. He's going to dispel the Hoof Stomp stun. We'll pop the ult shortly after. Requiem of Soul is used, but BKB by Slark will counteract it. And now the rest of his team is coming back. Will they actually want to fight with that 17k advantage? Buybacks galore for the cores here, but not so much for IG. Astral Imprisonment. did get activated to save the Lich from that Skywrath ult. And Roshan is very important right now. But look in the base. IG's base is taking heavy damage from the creeps. So all Reality Rift has to do is prevent this Roshan, essentially. They don't have to full commit to this fight at all.
Yeah, they're just gonna try to make time. They're trying to force IG into a bad decision right now. They're just like kind of playing time.
Oh, Skywrath actually put in a pretty bad spot, but the Omni Knight ult will be activated, and he will live as a result. Lich ult bouncing left, right, and center. Shadow Fiend trying to do as much damage as he can. Remember, their base is still getting destroyed by these creeps big time. There's now the damage coming out. JT not able to get the hoof stomp off, but will finally do so. Sanity's Eclipse takes out the TA. That is a big death. No buyback for her right now. As Odie
They're gonna lose the game in like 20
onto the
seconds.
Omni Knight. And yeah, the shrine or the base is being decimated. Both tier 4s are dead. There are 4 siege creeps damaging it. They will finally use Glyph. And we'll see if they actually get there in time. I don't think so. Slark continuing to do a great job of counteracting this. Lich will die to the creeps alone. Shadow Fiend is being TP'd here. It gets canceled at the last moment, and that is that is such a crappy way to lose the game. Whew. Nice game though.
This has been one of the most hilarious ways I've seen a game end in a while.
That was good.
It didn't die to a GG call or a hero.
Yeah. Good old creeps MVP.
The last kill of the game, I think, was Lich dying to creeps.
Yeah, I enjoy this one thoroughly. Reality Rift, they started off a little shaky. I think they just plain lost the laning stage in a couple of those lanes at least. But they came back with a vengeance.
I think the top lane shouldn't have been lost that hard, but you know, sometimes some weird things happen. Centaur does some skill build that maybe they weren't expecting, so they feed a kill there. I think this game turned very hardcore when Radiant, they smoked into the Dire Ancient side, like on the right-hand side of the map. When that play didn't work out, I don't know how many kills they fed, like 3 or 4. And then suddenly the Dire had like a good timing. They got to take Roche, and they were basically back on track, even with that bad laning phase. That one bad fight into a Roshan for Dire, and suddenly they're the ones in the driver's seat for the game.
Very unique game. That's probably the best way I can describe this one. I was not expecting
Yeah, I like
that.
unique.
Yes, unique is good. Okay, so that does it for game 1 of this best of 3. Remember, this is the first best of 3 of 2 that we have today in the GSL group stage for the DreamHack Major. And Invictus Gaming, they got to be careful, because if they lose this, they will go down to what I guess you can consider the lower bracket of the GSL. And if you lose or get last 2 in the group, you will go down the lower bracket of the major itself, which is a best of 1 first round. That is the scariest position. Yeah, that is.
Oh boy.
Not where
I thought that stuff was removed. My bad.
Not really. I mean, it feels 50-50 at this point.
Yeah, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, so you got to play well. That's all it comes down to. So we'll be back after this brief break with game 2 of this best of 3.